Mind the closing doors. Stand clear.
Studying abroad has been such a seminal experience for me, but it hasn't all been so happy and easy. The first days here, I was doubting how I'd adjust, not liking the food, or knowing how to work public transportation, but slowly, as I became more familiar with tram routes, was stunned by the beautiful architecture, and made friends, I began to fall in love with Prague. Becoming familiar with public transportation has a significant meaning to me because it means you know where you are. It shows a newfound comfort in your day-to-day activities. You know where you are. You're not lost. You can ignore Google Maps and just jam to the music. Because I've been living in Prague, it also gave me the opportunity to travel around Europe more. I went to Paris for 24 hours. I learned about Picasso's life and paintings from a museum in Barcelona. I cried at the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. I drank chai in Southall, London. I painted in Parque de Retiro in Madrid. I ate spicy vegan food in Berlin. I got stopped for jaywalking in Prague. I got lost, and I found myself. Living abroad actually wasn't a long-time dream of mine, but it became something that interested me more and more as I started to take learning Spanish more seriously. Even though I only spent a month in the summer in Spain, I grew confident in my ability to increase my fluency in a new language, as well as adjust to a new culture that's unfamiliar to me. It's also just exciting being in a new environment that's so different from things you've experienced before and getting to know a new culture while being immersed in it. I brought that excitement with me to Prague and had high hopes. The city pleasantly surprised me and even exceeded my expectations. It is gorgeous, rich with history, diverse, and has so much to do. It's an underrated city, or at least it was to me before coming here. So while I've been lucky to be living in Prague and traveling around, I also felt a sense of travel burnout. And I know that's something that is very privileged of me to even have. In the words of Phoebe Bridgers, I was getting emotional motion sickness. The overstimulation led to numbness. And she even says in the song, I can hardly feel anything at all. So once I sat down and finally started reflecting, I began to absorb what was going on and all that I had seen and heard and experienced. I thought about what I loved, what I didn't love, the pros and cons of every place I had been to, the experiences I had, the people I was with. And some of that numbness and feeling lost eventually led to me falling back in love with art. I felt lost and isolated at times, something that's natural to feel in a new place without anything grounding you. But that's when I turned to something that has always grounded me, art. Since I was a kid, art has been my favorite thing to do alone. As Erasmus has gone on and on, I find myself wanting isolation as well as being put in it by default sometimes. But when I was a kid, I could spend hours working on one drawing and not thinking about anything else. So I started to pursue art again. I started to read, write, paint. Filling my mind with new motifs helped me put meaning to what I was seeing in person. For example, at the Mucha Museum in Prague, Mucha painted these calendars, which were kind of sets of paintings, and he had one about the 4 seasons. And I remember I was on Paris Street for the first time in Prague in the summer. And there was this moment where all the car hoods were reflecting the sunlight, the clouds, and also, most importantly, the green leaves. I went back there 2 days ago and the car hoods were there again, and it was reflecting Christmas lights this time. I love seasonal motifs because it shows the passage of time. That makes me emotional. And isn't that the point of art, to make you emotional, to make you feel something? Think about that scene from Twilight where the camera pans around Bella as she's staring out the window, immobile, paralyzed by her loss, and the seasons are changing. It makes you feel like time keeps going, but she can't. Seasons have showed me how beautiful life is, and here I was in Prague. I blinked, and 4 months went by so quick. For me, the risk of coming to Prague was low. I knew I'd go back to the US after. But now, I know I can do something like this alone, on my own, again. It's been difficult being separated, having to find my own footing, but it also shows that I can bounce back. Things got better, not consistently, not eventually, but through ups and downs. And I'm still here in Prague for just a few more days. I'm just standing at the exit of Prague, but I already miss it so much. I love you, Prague. Waking up to something like this is just the greatest. I'm so lucky to have had this. I'll never be this young and this free again, and I knew I had to take advantage of it. So leaving everything behind was worth it for me, but it doesn't mean I'm not going back. I'll be back, New York.